The whistle cuts through the darkness first, sharp, haunting, then the eyes, crimson and unblinking, locked onto their prey. Puss in Boots has faced giants, armies, death-defying falls. But this is different. The wolf steps forward, sickles spinning with surgical precision, and Puss feels something he's never felt before, pure primal terror. Because death isn't here to fight. He's here to collect. His claws retract, his breathing fails. The legend crumbles in real time, reduced to a panicking animal who suddenly understands the truth. There's no charm, no sword trick, no last-minute escape. Death is inevitable, and Puss has been running blind on borrowed time. But how did the fearless legend become so reckless he wasted 8 lives? Origin story. Puss built his legend on bravado. The swashbuckling hero who laughed at danger, who danced through sword fights, who had 9 lives to burn through like currency, crushed by a cathedral bell, flattened by a cannon, burned alive in a kitchen fire. Each death became a spectacle, a punchline at parties, stories to charm admirers with. Not warnings, never warnings. His arrogance wasn't villainy. It was existential denial, wrapped in charm and swordplay. When you have 9 lives, death becomes theoretical, a concept for lesser creatures, something that happens to others while you collect applause and admiration. Then came the doctor's office. The 9th life arrived, not with fanfare, but with 4 words that shattered everything. You died. Present tense. Final life. Mortality isn't theoretical anymore. And Puss's response? Bury the legend. Retire the hat, the boots, the sword. Hide in a cat lady's house, surrounded by litter boxes and shame. Let fear consume what courage once defined. Because when you realize the finish line is real, you stop running. But retirement won't save him. Death doesn't wait for the ready. So what forces Puss back into the hunt? The rise, the wishing star, a cosmic loophole. Restore his 9 lives, outrun death permanently, return to the legend he used to be. Puss frames it as heroism, a quest, but he's just running with better PR. He recruits Kitty Softpaws and Perito. Partners? No. Resources, exit strategies with fur. Except death doesn't respect itineraries. The forest ambush. Death moves like he's bored. Every strike surgical, effortless, almost lazy. Puss barely escapes. The wolf's laughter trails him into the dark like smoke. He's not even hunting. He's waiting, watching Puss figure out something the legend's too scared to see. The crystal cave. Death materializes closer now, crimson eyes throwing Puss's own terror back at him. That whistle bounces off every surface. There's nowhere it doesn't reach. Then Perito talks about his past. No posturing, no performance, just the truth. Delivered like it's not dangerous. Kitty follows, shows her scars, names her betrayals. And Puss realizes what fear actually costs. He forgot how to see people, how to be here now, instead of performing for ghosts. Perito's looking at stars with genuine wonder, and Puss can't remember the last time he looked at anything that wasn't a mirror or an exit. The dark forest trials force confrontation. His past selves emerge from shadows, mocking him, dissecting every failure, every wasted life. 8 versions of arrogance, all pointing at the coward he's become. He reaches the star. The wish is his. Immortality, safety, everything he came for. And he stops, because the wish won't give him life. It'll give him an eternity of running, never staying anywhere long enough to remember why living matters, never seeing another person clearly, never being seen. He steps back, accepts 1 mortal life over 9 immortal prisons. Puss has made his choice, but death doesn't accept surrender. The final confrontation will define everything, but death doesn't do acceptance speeches. The wolf's coming, and this time there's no map to follow. The peak, the final duel. Puss no longer runs. He stands. Not from arrogance this time, from acceptance. Death moves in, expecting the same coward who buried himself in shame. But something's different. Puss fights back, not to win, not to escape, to live. And then he says it, the words that change everything. I know I can never defeat you, Lobo, but I will never stop fighting for this life. Death pauses, studies him. And for the first time, the wolf's expression shifts. He wasn't hunting Puss to kill him. He was hunting him to make him value life again, to transform arrogance into humility, recklessness into courage. The wolf backs down, not in defeat, in respect. Pick it up. Death gestures to Puss's sword, lying in the dirt, a warrior's acknowledgement, because Puss finally fears death appropriately, which means he can finally live authentically. This is the peak, not immortality restored, mortality embraced as the source of meaning. Fear confronted becomes the catalyst for presence. But what separates Puss's transformation from those who never learn? The film gives us a dark mirror. The Fall, Jack Horner, Puss's shadow, the version of himself that refuses every lesson, where greed replaces growth and control becomes compulsion. While Puss learns to value one life, Jack hoards magic, power, wishes, trying to control what should humble him. He had everything, a pie empire, a legacy, but it wasn't enough. It's never enough when you measure life by what you lack instead of what you hold. He reaches the star, his wish within grasp, all the magic in the world concentrated into one moment of absolute power, and it devours him. Not a heroic defeat, a pathetic erasure, consumed by his own refusal to accept that some things have limits, that some boundaries exist for reasons deeper than inconvenience. The contrast is surgical. Puss survives by surrendering control. Jack dies, clutching for more. Even Goldilocks and the bears learn. They abandon their wish, choose present family over fantasy futures, because a perfect family doesn't exist in some alternate timeline. It exists in the choice to stay, to work, to value what's already there. The film's structure makes the lesson unavoidable. Those who accept mortality find meaning. Those who deny it find oblivion. Puss's fall is actually his salvation. He loses the wish, loses invincibility, loses the armor of arrogance that kept him isolated from everything real, and gains everything that matters: connection, presence, the ability to see a sunrise and feel it instead of performing for an audience that doesn't exist. Death's whistle still echoes. It always will. But now it's a reminder, not a sentence. The boundary that makes every moment precious, because it's not infinite. So what does this animated wolf teach us about our own lives, our own denial, our own deaths? Legacy. The Last Wish hit different in 2022. It didn't treat death like a villain to defeat or some abstract concept to philosophize about. It treated death like what it is, the thing that makes every moment count. What Puss goes through, psychology backs it up. Face your death and suddenly you're actually here, actually grateful, actually connecting with people instead of performing for them. The film's argument is simple. Fear isn't your enemy. Running from fear is. When you stop pretending you're immortal, life gets louder. Look at where Puss ends up. Same life, still adventuring, still fighting, still loving, but watch his eyes. Every sunrise hits different when you know you're not getting infinite sunrises. That's the shift. Not what you do, but how you do it. Every conversation becomes real. Every choice becomes yours. Every moment gets heavy with meaning because you finally understand the clock. The lesson isn't don't fear death. It's fear death the right amount. Then let that fear show you what matters. Which brings us back to you, right now, carrying whatever story you tell yourself about why death doesn't apply to you yet. Death's whistle will find all of us. The question is whether you'll spend your life running or living. Puss's lesson: you can't escape it, but you can stop letting fear of it steal the life you have now. The film's genius is making a children's movie deliver what most adults avoid: mortality as mentor, not monster. What are you running from that you should be facing? What life are you postponing because you're pretending you have infinite time? The relationships you're delaying, the risks you're avoiding, the presence you're trading for the illusion of safety. Are you living or just avoiding dying? If this hit different, subscribe. Drop a comment with what you're choosing to face today. And remember, the whistle's already playing.